With me today is our VP of Product, knows everything that we have done, not only in 23, but prior. Preethy has been with us for a while now. Preethy, I don't remember how many years, but it's been a while. And thank you. Thank you very much, Preethy, for taking the time to be with us today and share everything that we've done. And like I said, with Preethy here, please, use the chat. Let us know features that don't exist that you really, really want to see. So all of that is open. Let us know what you think, and we'll take it into consideration. We definitely want to make products and features that you're going to use. That's the point. So we want to know what you want. All right. So today's agenda, and not necessarily in this order, just because of how things are broken up. We're going to be talking about what we did in 23 and some things that are going to be coming soon. So we're going to give you a sneak peek into some features that have not been introduced yet. And then, of course, we'll open it up to Q&A at the end. All right. And with that, I am going to basically open it up to you, Preethy. Tell us, let's start with hardware.
Sounds great. Thank you, Amir. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I saw in the chat, we have some wide representation here. Super excited to be here and talk. I'll talk a little bit background to Amir's point before we kind of jump into content. So my team is focused on the product function at Matterport. So we focus across hardware, software, service for our self-service SMB customers, as well as our enterprise customers. And our goal, as Amir said, was we are here to drive outcome for you, right? And for outcome for our customers include saving time, saving money, increasing productivity. And that comes in the full gamut from the day-to-day tasks. And you'll see a ton of examples on how we are really looking to ensure that your day-to-day tasks are more efficient, more productive, all the way to your big projects, all using Matterport. One thing actually, Amir, Charmaine, we were in the pre-Zoom link before the channel started. So one of the things I'll extend by saying we love what Amir does here for us in these forums where talking about product, creating these amazing content on product demos, inviting customers to tell their stories on how they use the product, share best practices. So super excited to continue the platform that Charmaine and Amir has created to talk a little bit about 23 and, like as Amir said, sneak peek on what's to come. So with that, let's jump in. So we're going to start about hardware, right? So I think most of you are familiar. So we introduced our flagship product, our latest edition called Pro 3. If I see a comment, Amir is a rock star, he definitely is. So if you haven't had a chance to use Pro 3, you'll notice three big differences, right? First, right away, you will see how portable it is, how lightweight it is. The second one you'll notice is the speed of capture. So it's really, we are focused on how do we eliminate maximize and decrease the time on the field. So it's really focusing on the speed of capture. And the third thing you'll notice is the breadth, right? The ability to do indoor, outdoor, in whatever type of light, dim light, direct sunlight, as well as the accuracy and the measurement. The performance kit that you see here, we launched, Amir, I want to say, a few weeks ago. So this happened in November, where now with this performance kit, you get all of the accessories you need to really do the job that you need on the field till the capture of the full space is completely done, right? 2 rechargeable batteries, your wheeled dolly, your tripod, your hard case, your backpack, your charging kit, all comes standard. And this is available. I think there are tons of promotions going on as well at this time of the year. So please go and check that out. And for those, for example, if you're thinking about it and you want to kind of try before you buy, one of the things I urge you to check out is the team introduced a rental program. Again, this was something that the team introduced in Q4 of this year, where you can try Pro 3 hassle-free, no risk. And it may be you just need it for you need it only for a few days. So that's a perfect opportunity, or you want to try before you buy the product as well. So please check that out. And you can obviously go to our websites that has all of the product comparison demos and other information as well. If we go to the next, I think we're kind of looking at the next topic here. And again, to Amir's point, we have a lot of content we've done to cover. So please continue to reiterate, if you've used the product, how has that experience been for you? If you've used the product and you don't like it, we want to know about that as well. And if you're not using the product, then we want to know why it doesn't work for you as well. So that way we can incorporate that when we think about our roadmap as well. All right, so moving from hardware to field operations, I have a few highlights on some of the features we've launched. Again, you may have used it. If you haven't used it, we would urge you to give this a try, and a couple of sneak peeks on new things that are on our radar as well. So we'll start with Realign here. Realign is a feature, so you've used our app, Matterport app. Realign is exactly what it means, right? So here in the example, I think it was scan 13 position is actually placed at the wrong spot. You're in the field, you know the space best, you know the field condition best. So we, with this feature, allow you to provide that input into our platform, right? And we take that signal and feed that into our automation algorithm. So when we are processing the model, we are taking that user input that says, like, here you will clearly see that scan 13 position is sort of moved, right? You can move that and place it in that right spot. So love to kind of see, if you guys haven't used it, please feel to do so. Again, kind of coming back to the product team goals, we're really focused on how do we save time, money, increase productivity, all the way from your day-to-day task. Here's an example of how we want to make sure your day-to-day field operations is more productive, more efficient. If we go to the next slide, we've talked a little bit about our hardware. And I know Amir's talked about that quite a bit in earlier shop talks as well. So we are really focused on our strategy to meet our customers where they are, right? So that may be using our hardware products, but it could also does not have to be, right? So we partner with Insta360, with Ricoh, and really making sure that their lineup of products are something that if you are already using, that we are actually supporting that in the field. So again, if you have a Pro Series camera and a 360 and you want to do a mixed scan, feel free to do so. If you have a 360, check that out as well. And if you go to the next slide, this is where it's not just about, when we're kind of thinking about Matterport strategy, right? It's not just about new spaces or new work. Could also start from, you may already have captured spaces in your library, right? So that could be your existing 360 cameras, or it could be that you are in the field, time is of essence, and you're really doing like a whole bunch of walkthrough captures, and you don't have time for a full Matterport scan, and you want to kind of bring the Matterport model later, right? Or it could be because you're editing the the light in a room, or you're adding objects, like you could be virtually staging a room. So whatever that use case may be, we want to make sure we are meeting you where you are. So this import 360 functionality is really about enabling that capture ubiquity story, right? Which is whether that's a new capture or an existing capture, we want to enable you to bring that onto the Matterport platform so that you can use all of our functionalities, our dollhouse view, the walkthrough, the measurement and accuracy, all of the collaboration, all of the workflow features, all of the tours and other sort of applications you could use. We want to enable all of that. In this particular one, we love when our customers share their stories with the community. So one of the things that showed up, actually my team shared it with me just before this webinar. The share was, you guys can take a look at our Move group earlier today. So I have the notes here. So this was, the customer had used the import 360 feature, and what they had done was, it was not an actual building, right? It was 3D CGI virtual tour of an unbuilt space. So it was really about, actually I have, sorry, I'm looking it up. So this was from JP Morris. He had shared it with everyone, how he had actually used this feature to bring onto Matterport platform, not just an existing building, but the design of a new construction as well. So fantastic to hear these stories. Again, like as Amir said, please continue to share your experiences with us.
This one is huge. Before we move on, I just wanted to point out this. So the last slide we talked about, the cameras that are officially kind of supported, right? That we actually have that bidirectional communication with them, and you can use them, integrated with the Matterport app. But this truly opens up Matterport to literally any 360 camera. If you've got an equirectangular 360 image from any source, whether you've photoshopped it or not, as Preethy said, a lot of times, just in this case, it's a place that doesn't even exist, right? You can take those panos and put them through Cortex to create a Matterport model. And, the nice thing is then it can be shared on anyone's device anywhere. So I think this is massive. This is really a big one.
Exactly. So we're super excited to that point, right? When we think about capture, like as Amir said, it's really about capture ubiquity, meeting where you are, with the device and file format of your choice. The next two are not features available today in the platform, but a couple of things that the teams are in the process of building and coming soon. So the first one, we call it, these are internal names, it's called 3D Minimap, and it's exactly what it sounds, right? So in your app, you have a 2D view. And what this allows in the app is the ability to switch to a 3D view, where you will see that dollhouse preview in, and again, right, in the field, you're trying to monitor the progress as you're going through your scan. We want to enable you to do that before the model is fully processed. And of course, when the model is fully processed through Cortex, you'll have obviously much more fidelity and accuracy that comes with it. But sometimes in the field, you need to be able to do a quick check-in. And we want to create additional feature functionality beyond that 2D minimap that exists today. And again, 2D minimap will continue to exist. So this is about the ability for you to switch, if you will. So we are opening up beta shortly. So one of the quick plugs I will make is if you want to monitor matterport.com/beta, that's where our teams highlight our upcoming feature functionalities, but I'll also invite you, if you so choose, to participate in our early beta program, use the feature and also provide your input as well. So please check that space. If you go to the next slide, Amir. This one we are actually we are excited about, because one of the things we are starting to hear, especially a little bit more from our larger customers, larger enterprise customers, when they're kind of scanning larger facilities, they need access to a higher density point cloud. In this particular example, maybe they need to see more of the details of the feature in that space. They want to see the same thing reflected in their E57 or mesh, or maybe they're using Matterpacks or their BIM file format. Maybe they want to have additional detailed data points, measurement accuracy between these pipes and narrow ledges. So again, this is going beyond a regular sort of marketing use case and really kind of going into that facility management use case where all of this precision matters, right? So we internally call that high density scanning. And this is something we are looking as an extension. We continue to always improve Pro3. And so this is one of the things that the teams are actively looking at. The one caveat I will add is that higher density scanning is actually achieved by reducing the scan speed of the LiDAR system. So you will notice a difference in your field operation. But again, for the specialized use cases, again, we're hearing this from a little bit more of our larger customers, enterprises, managing facilities. They want to scale their use of Pro3. So this is one of the as needed feature functionality. Like it would be an upgrade, if you will, right, for that specialized use case.
We actually had a question about this specific feature. Quick question about this before we move forward. What do you know, if I don't know how much testing we've been able to really do just so far. Is the accuracy also slightly improved, or just the density?
It really comes in the focus is density is the main focus, right? The accuracy, because it's like denser point cloud, maybe when you're doing tags, when you're pinning things, it might feel more accurate, but that's the side benefit, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Makes sense.
And again, like I said, the one call out is it's coming because the scan speed is reduced, right? So we're taking the time to scan. So most of our customers might not want this because they are looking to maximize the current density and accuracy sufficient for their needs, and they're trying to maximize time on field. This is just for like a specific use case where maybe there is a part in the factory floor that is going through construction and they need this additional fidelity in place for that specific use case.
Yeah, curves, details around windowsills, things like that.
Exactly, like nooks and corners.
But wall-to-wall accuracy may not be, radically improved just because it's higher density.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
All right. So kind of switching topics a little bit, we talked a little bit about this, right? So the capture, the field operations is really our step one. And really the benefit of using Matterport platform, and this is really, it's not even 23, it's kind of really taking a look back where we have tools to enable you to protect sensitive data with blur, to remove unwanted details with trim, to add your specific notes and tags, like think Google Docs for the built world, right? Creating guided tours, but also expanding the use of your digital twin with views so that it's really targeted to your different audiences. So it's really about creating that space to edit the twins you've created, create workflows that fit your needs, really drive collaboration on the platform. with that foundation, especially looking at views, if we can go to the next slide, Amir, thanks. The teams have done a tremendous job building on top of what they've created earlier this year with this feature functionality called layers. So the concept behind that is we're really trying to maximize the ability for you to use that one digital twin and maximize the number of use cases and the audience that you could do, right? But what that sometimes may lead to is you actually have a lot of different data tags and nodes all attached to one space. But you really want to create a more streamlined experience for each of your individual audience. So that's where views come in. So actually, one of my team members had Kirk written a fantastic blog post. So I'll actually call out the example that he used. So this was a space that they were used to creating two different views, right? One was a little bit more of an interior walkthrough of the space. So creating highlights on different features within the space view. And then the other view was a little bit more on the electrical, mechanical side of things, right? So two different audiences. One, you want to know the highlights about the room and the space. So create a very separate view. The second was you going into the details, mechanical, electrical. So now let's take the second example, second use case. So you've created this view, which is the details, but it's still a lot of information, right? So this is where data layers come in, where you can double click and allow the to sort of group, if you will, or layer your data sets so that the viewer has the option to say in the detailed view, I only want to see all the details on the lighting. So how do we create a data segment on lighting? I only want to know the details on equipment. So your tags, your labels, your measurement, you can kind of group these things by that different layer segments that allows for easy navigation and ease of use, both for the creator, but also for the consumer of the model, especially when we are thinking collaboration. So really focusing on how do we create from your everyday task to your large products and your large projects, how do we create flexibility within the platform so that the tools work and scales with your business scale as well. So we're really, really excited. If you haven't had a chance to try it, take a look at the blog post. Another call out I will make is our support article, all the how-to videos that Amir has created and demos are also another great asset. So if you want to obviously know, I'm just covering it at a very high level. If you want to know details, please use those resources. So there's lots and lots of different like step-by-step walkthrough of these features as well.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. The more you play with it, especially for users who use views, I think this is super, super beneficial because you can have layers that cross over multiple views. So one data set of tags can be seen in every view. You don't have to start duplicating tags and moving them and keeping track. It's just this data set. Every view can see this, and then these other data sets are specifically viewed. So this is really cool.
Awesome. So this is actually a nice continuation with the next slide, Amir. So let's think about how do we go from automating more and more of these data sets creation, right? So when we think about our customers, accurate room by room measurement is one of the most important thing and a time consuming thing that we get asked about, both from our, in the case of residential real estate, home, the listing. So it could be the listing agent, it could be the photography service working on behalf of the agent or the seller. but it's also one of the most requested features that our home shoppers and our home buyers, so somebody who's interested in looking at your property, are constantly thinking about. And they're actually one of the things, what our team found is when we were talking to our customers, some of these home shoppers are using these measurements as almost a filter to decide if I'm coming to the open house or not, right? Or they're trying to plan their Saturday afternoon open house visits, and they're saying, okay, let me use more details to figure out which one do I want to prioritize this Saturday, right? So we are really hearing that loud and clear from our customers. So what this allows, so you may have seen we launched this earlier in October this year. It's called Property Intelligence Elements. So this is the ability for our customers to now not have to do this work manually at all. It's completely eliminated. As your model is processed, we automatically generate the 2D layout and the 3D layout, include all the details. So room names, labels, measurements, walls, openings, dimensions, ceiling heights, all of these things come. Here's a small snippet video. If you go to the press release, and there's a detailed support article as well. We are actively recruiting for beta. We are expanding our beta. So if this is something you're interested, please sign up. You can see that for the model of your own model as well. So this is something we are super, super excited about. We would love, it's again, as Amir said, it's all about continuing to invest in our Cortex technology. So we are really going beyond that visualization to also add that insights and make that all automatically happen for our customers. Let me pause, Amir. I want to make sure if there are other things you wanted to highlight.
I mean, this is, I keep saying this is huge, but this is a big deal because for many years, I know a lot of you, I'm trying to keep track of the chat here as we go through this, have been with us for a long time. Phil Gorski, I saw Dan Smigrod in here. And you know that in the beginning, we were like a virtual walkthrough. But only a few years after that, we had this major shift into a data company. And this is kind of the first step, I think, in that kind of automation of that data set. And what I think, as I said, this is only the beginning, right? This is just scratching the surface in terms of what's going to be possible and what is possible, but what will soon be coming down the road of what can be fully automated because you're capturing both 3D and 2D. And it's not just a virtual walkthrough anymore. And I think we're going to start seeing that more and more with this kind of technology.
The one thing to build on what Amir said is, and again, welcome you to participate in beta. One of the product philosophies we are using, sorry, Amir, if we can stay in Pi for just a second here. One of the philosophies we're using is we are focusing on automation, as Amir said, kind of going beyond the walkthrough to the data and the insights. But we are also putting editability front and center in how we create these AI and generative AI products. And the reason is because even with automation, we fundamentally believe in user input, especially you as our customers. You know the space best, right? And you know the particular attributes of the space best. So both from that detail that you will have a lot more than we ever will as a platform. So that's one. And the second is the ability to make customization part of the default way in which how we are building. So making sure you have control. how we've built beta, and of course, when we're launching this, we're looking to launch this in the coming year, is really focusing on automation, but with editability and control built in. So we're super excited about, as Amir said, we are just getting started. You will see more and more feature functionality, really focused on how do we continue. Actually, my Zoom background coincidentally has this, which is how do we create that next generation of digital twin that is adding more value to our customers, that is increasing the value of the property and driving more revenue to your business as well. So we're super excited, a lot more to come here. Call out if you're interested to sign up for beta. Perfect, Amir. All right, if we can go to the next slide. So speaking of when we are thinking about giving you control, we are actually super excited about, I have three highlights here. What our team's been working on is the ability to further customize the showcase dollhouse experience. So this one, you will see it's the ability to add a compass. So you could be, you have a residential property and you want to show the direction as you're navigating through your space. You now have the ability to add that for a specific model. Maybe that particular homeowner wants to create the feng shui attributes of the space and they want to add the compass. So you can do that. Again, control is for you. You can enable that if you so choose. If you go to the next slide, here's an example where as you're navigating through your space, you might have seen it in some of our partners, the ability to kind of see where you are navigating in the map. Again, this is fully customizable if you so choose for that property. So here's an example where you can turn it on. You can decide how big you want it. You can decide what position you want to keep it, top left, you want to anchor it there, circle around, however big you want. So really giving you the flexibility to be able to do that and move the position as well. If you go to the next slide, here's an example for adding your own branding onto our product surfaces, right? So here's an example where as a photographer or a photographer working with an agent brokerage, apart from having the great digital walkthrough, you want to increase your branding for all of Matterport visitors. So now you have the ability to include the details, add a photo if you need. Again, case by case basis, you might not want to do it for every model, but for a model of your choosing, you can do this. Again, focusing on ensuring that as our customers, we give you that editability and control. So we're super, super excited about this. Again, these are all up. So sorry. So this is also coming soon. Please watch that beta space. We'll be actively calling for beta participation on this as well shortly. Perfect. All right. So moving to the next topic, one of the things we actively see is we've talked a lot about 3D so far, but we also know as our customers, when you're thinking about managing your entire project lifecycle, that includes Matterport Digital Twin, but that also includes additional assets. The additional assets could start with a floor plan. So one of the expansion we've done with the floor plan, this is actively being rolled out as we speak. It'll be rolled out to all our customers by the end of December here, is our expansion on our floor plan formats. Actually, Amir in LinkedIn called out. So one of the things we continue to make a lot of little tweaks in our user experience. So one of the things we recently launched is sometimes when you process a model, you don't think about add-ons front and center. So the team's done really nifty, clear call to action so that you can export that detail quickly into whatever file format of your choice. So in the floor plan format, the teams have expanded. So that expansion includes multiple dimension. So increasing the capabilities of the floor plan. So if you don't want just the black and white, if you want color, additional details like furniture, you can upgrade to get that. We also have expanded with no cost to you. If you want to include your brand logo, we want to create, again, a product surface to add your branding, your personal branding, and your client's personal branding, if you so choose. Again, full control for you. You don't have to use it if you don't need it, and you can use it on a case-by-case basis. The other thing I saw a note, I think it wasn't meant for this one, but we're also expanding our localization support. So in key markets, so it comes with localization support for German, French, Italian, as well as in Spanish as well. So we're super excited. Like I said, the teams are in the process of rolling it out. So I guess it's technically coming soon, but it's coming soon by the end of the year. And then if you go to the next slide, like you might want to use the 2D floor plan, or you may be using our BIM or building information management. But if you're not, and maybe BIM is too complex for you and schematic floor plan is too simple, so we're introducing CAD, so your DWG format. Especially when you think about your design and construction needs, the ability to be able to do that. It comes with all the feature functionalities you get with Matterport. It's a one-click purchase. You get that delivered into your model and your media space. It's a seamless workflow in addition to your 3D workflow, all within one location. So if you haven't, this is coming soon. It's not in the platform yet. And so we continue to hear, this is actually, this was an example, I think in one of the previous webinars that Amir had run, that we got a lot of feedback from our customers because we are, excuse me, sorry.
That's okay. It's a lot of talking.
Exactly. So this
is something that's been requested since we introduced BIM and the 3D assets, because the CAD, you do have 2D CAD drawings when you order the BIM, but a lot of customers were saying, well, what if I just want the CAD? I have no need for the 3D assets. Maybe they're not using Revit or whatever, and just have a need for the 2D assets, but want that level of accuracy and consistency, which is something that just schematic floor plans, don't have. They're designed for a different purpose, very, very different purpose.
Thanks, Amir. Thanks for covering. That's exactly it, right? So as Amir said, we really want to meet our customers where they are for their use case and their needs. And we'll continue to do that, right? If you go to the next slide, we do that with improvements as well. So we continue to think about some of our existing add-ons, and some of our larger customers are scanning larger and larger property. So today we don't quite support, I think we have a pretty reasonable, think like 40, 50,000 square feet, but there are use cases where they need it to be more bigger. So these are some things that we're thinking about in our roadmap to be coming soon in our roadmap as we continue to invest and learn from our customer feedback as well. All right, so we're almost getting to we have two more sections here. So if we go to the next section, it's integrations, right? So again, we want to ensure that Matterport works alongside the tools that you currently use. And in that design and construction space, Autodesk and Procore are market leaders that our customers are using. So this is, again, direct feedback from you all using Matterport, where you're looking at for maximizing your project documentation needs, to ensure that you have a single source of truth with all of the documentation, along with the pinpointed visualized location of where it is, comprehensive understanding during the different stages of your project and construction, making sure you're able to identify issues earlier on in the process so that you're streamlining your communication, you're keeping your projects on time. So this is something we had done earlier with Autodesk. We just launched it with an integration with Procore earlier in Q4. I actually think we have a pretty fantastic video that the teams had created. So maybe we could play that, Amir. It's a great walkthrough of the product. Thanks, Amir. And this is an example of Procore. And again, if for your design and construction needs, if you happen to be using Autodesk or Autodesk Construction Cloud, we have that integration as well. Again, it's seamless two-way integration. So from Matterport, you can link to your Procore or Autodesk RFIs and issues, and vice versa. So if you make an edit on your Procore or your Autodesk platform, that gets incorporated into the Matterport digital twin as well. So if you're in the field and you have easy access to Matterport, that's a great way to kind of look at your list of tasks you need to do. And once you complete the task, you can quickly edit and add your notes in the task. And then your project manager, if you will, that they're using the Autodesk or Procore, can quickly see that information. So this is something that is live. If you're a business account, you can use it. If you're an enterprise account, it comes part of your subscription. You don't need to do anything additional. If you aren't using it and want to use it, just go to your settings. You just need to enable it. A lot of our features are available, but we don't want to crowd your My.Matterport. So it's in the settings where you just need to toggle it on. And if this is of some use for you for your project needs, please give it a try.
There were a couple of questions that I just want to address before we move on because they're very relevant to this. One was, will we be able to link already created issues from Autodesk to Matterport versus creating the issue in Matterport? Not really, because the issues that have already been created prior to maybe syncing the model with your ACC project won't have that location, right, in space and time, and that's the key. But once you've created that tag in Matterport and you've titled it and you've added the description and whatnot, that information is then put in your project in ACC. And whatever changes you make in ACC or Procore, by the way, they're both the same. That addresses Tom's question, whether you can do this in ACC as well. Yes. You can update that project information and then the tag in Matterport will update. But you do have to create that RFI or issue first in the Matterport model, after those to the model and the project have been synced, the tag just needs to be placed. So you have that location in the model, and then you can do whatever you want.
Love that. Perfect. All right. I think we are at our last section. So we've been talking about these features. Again, all the things that we talked about is available to all our subscribers. These ones are a little bit specific to our enterprise customers because they have a little bit more specialized needs. So here's an example where it's a factory floor. I think we have a video here as well. So you have a number of equipments that you are tagging and using. And obviously you don't need an enterprise account to do that. You can use that to our regular subscription plan. But in case this is something that you want to do where you want to now tag and tie that to your AWS IoT Twin Maker. So we have a few enterprise customers who are using that and who want to use Matterport. So bringing the power of visualization and connecting that to real-time data is where the power of the integration comes into play. So what this allows, what the quick demo shows is, here's a factory floor. You can do all the usual things, collaboration, workflow. But within that Twin Maker, you can pull your Matterport Twin, and then they have these standard sort of toolkits where you can now tie that to any of your real-time feed data. So that way, when you log into your AWS dashboard, you can see not just the walkthrough of the factory floor, but the real-time data feed. Here's an example where you can, apart from seeing the data walkthrough, you can also proactively identify problem areas. So for example, if something is trending towards a red and it's an orange, here's a great way where you can set up alert rules to be able to be informed on that. So it's really the power of how do you make that Matterport digital twin your source of truth, and include real-time data to make better decisions, faster decisions as well in the field. So we're really so excited about this. Our teams actually recently, I think it was last week or the week ago, was AWS reInvent. I know the Twin Maker team is really excited about this partnership as well, because they see value of Twin Maker further accelerated when a customer uses the Matterport digital twin platform. Perfect. If we go to the next slide, these are, sorry, the Twin Maker integration is existing. So if you're an enterprise account, you get access to it. This last one is about a feature that is not in our enterprise platform today, but it's something we are super excited to be coming shortly here. So this is really about as our enterprise customers come onto our platform, they have specific user requirements, user access needs. And it is specific to their individual corporate environment, right? So for example, we have customers where they have different factory locations or production locations or commercial locations across the globe. And they want each of those locations to be managed by a local admin and the spaces to be only viewed by them. There may be some corporate headquarter team that can look across, but they want to have really localized privileges. So we want to be able to support that. Then we have customers where they are centralized, but they work with a vendor to provide products and services. So they want to restrict the rules and permissions that the vendor uses versus their corporate employee base. So how do we enable and then there are a lot of in-between scenarios across the board, right? So every customer is unique. And again, our goal is how do we make sure we meet the customer where they are? We want to ensure that from their day-to-day task all the way to their large corporate projects, our Matterport platform scales with our customer needs. So we're super excited. We're internally calling it custom rules and permissioning. It's really about creating that flexibility and scalability for our enterprise customers. So this is, again, if this is of interest to you, please watch that space, matterport.com/beta. And and if that's of interest, please participate in our beta coming shortly here. All right, I think we are at the last slide. So this is actually, this is an always on for us, right? As our customers continue to find new ways, new use cases on how they use Matterport, not just for their digital 3D asset needs, but it's to also include their critical data to make sure that their business operations are more productive, more efficient, saving them time and money, increasing their revenue. They might be bringing detailed data, information about their spaces. So our commitment to data security, data privacy remains our top priority and focus. And this is not just for our enterprise customers, this spans across all of our customers. So our platform offers end-to-end encryption, advanced controls, SOC compliance as well. And it's really focusing on making sure we are creating a platform where our customers can unlock those business efficiencies, bring more of their properties online. And we see this day in and day out, right? Our customers are eliminating in-site visits. They're moving a number of their on-site tasks to the digital twin. They're operating their facilities. They're monitoring their properties. They're marketing their properties. They're overseeing from small to large design and construction projects. They're doing virtual employee training, and they're doing that all on Matterport. They're doing it with partners like you providing some of these services on top of Matterport. So we're super, super excited about making sure that everything that we build, this is a paramount product pillar for us. We put security and data compliance first. So that's a little bit of a standard. We do this across all of our products and features. With that, I think that comes to, I know it was a long sessions. The team's done a fantastic job launching a lot of things. So sorry, I think we went much longer than we originally planned for. But
a little bit, yeah. Actually, just looking at the time. So unfortunately, we don't have that much time for questions. I do want to just add one last thing about this slide, is because I've had customers reach out to me, say, hey, I've got clients who are very concerned about security and having their data up in the cloud where they don't feel like they have as much control over it. And I know that I think it's biannually, twice a year, that we have a third-party company basically try and break in, as far as I understand it, and really test the security of the data. And they create a report, and that report is available on this website. So if you just go to matterport.com/trust, you can find that report, provide that to any client of yours that may have concerns, and hopefully that'll get them to buy in and you can do the work for them. So hopefully that'll help. But all this other information, everything that you see here as far as security and availability, is much more expanded upon and has more about it on that website as well. So check it out. With that said, let's see how much of these questions we can get through. I'm going to go ahead and just stop sharing real quick. Okay, let's see if maybe we can tackle this from the top. We're working internally on a workflow to use Matterport 3D data within the Unreal Engine. Actually, the quality is quite low, and we need to reconstruct most things. will there be an advantage with high density scans? So I'm not sure if you're using the showcase. So there are different qualities to Matterport. What you see in the showcase is a pretty radically uh, um, reduced quality for streaming, right? If you order the Matter Pack, you get a much, much higher density and more higher resolution OBJ, right? The mesh, as well as XYZ point cloud. And if you get the E57, it's way beyond that. So that would be the highest quality right now that you can get. Once we have the high density scans, with the Pro 3 available, that'll even be more higher quality and higher resolution and accuracy. So I'm not sure which one of those you're using, but definitely I would highly recommend going for the E57. All right. Is there a future state where multiple cameras can be run simultaneously to the, simultaneously building a model within one capture app instance, i.e. 2 cameras, 1 tablet? We've definitely gotten this question before, because obviously when you've got multiple floors, it is time consuming. There's no question about it. You still need to move the camera. It's not autonomous yet. But yes, it would be really nice if you had a couple, or multiple scanners, right, technicians on each floor, and you can just bust out this building in half, a third of the time, a fourth of the time, whatever, because each floor has its own scan tech, and then maybe just mash those together. Is that a thing? I mean, it's not a thing, but can it be? Will it be one day? Maybe into the same Matterport app? No, but maybe taking the data and somehow combining it, mushing it together, potentially. Anything about that, Preethy? What do you think?
So we don't have anything committed, but one of the explorations we are actively looking at is we call these connected spaces, right? So they are connected in some semblance because they are different floors, and they're scanned within different devices. So you'll see our teams kind of, they're thinking deeply, they're doing a bunch of discovery work, and you'll see more on this topic next year. I don't have a solve right now, though, but that's a space in which we are actively looking, where more in the sense of tools, right? How do we create our customers the tools for them to kind of manage their potentially team scans, larger spaces, different requirements and needs better over the longer run?
All right, fantastic. Kind of out of time, but let's look at this one, because we did talk about importing 360 images, right, from any source, and that kind of has to do with this. But I think, unfortunately, I really apologize, this is going to have to be the last one because we are out of time. Is it possible to download a standalone 360 image from one tour and import it as a standalone 360 image into another existing tour? So I assume, John, you're talking about the 360 views, where they're kind of, not truly part of the 3D model itself or the dollhouse, but a 360 view. And I know we've run into this before, where you have multiple models, maybe like a courtyard, and external facilities that are kind of detached, but you want to have these kind of shared 360 views so that you don't have to capture the same 360 view multiple times with each one of your models. You can just migrate one to the next. I gotta imagine there's a third-party, plugin that can do this. Platform partner that can do this. It's not a feature yet. We don't have it just yet, but hopefully, Preethy, maybe this is, another thing. One more to add to the list for 24.
I love it. Again, we appreciate all of your participation, this feedback, both how you use it, how you would use it, what gaps we have. This is great, because these are the types of feedbacks that we actively incorporate as we look at our roadmap. So really appreciate everyone's time, participation, It's just fantastic to see. So thank you, Amir. Thank you, Charmaine, for doing this.
Thank you very much for sharing all this. Really excited to see those tools that are coming soon. Looking forward to playing with those more. So really appreciate it. Thank you very much, everybody, for all the questions, all the suggestions. I saw them coming in, and really appreciate all the collaboration that you're providing us in this. And that's what's going to make Matterport better for everybody. So that's the point. With that, thank you very much. Thank you, Preethy, and we will see you in the next webinar. Thanks again. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.